Hello my lady, I'm Michael McGorry and welcome to day 15 of the 30-day movie challenge. That's right, we are now midway through! And to celebrate this momentous milestone, my mum decided to treat me to a little haircut. And by treat I mean she pretty much forced me into doing it. She recently bought hair clippers the other day and was like a kid in Christmas. She was like, oh, I want to play with my clippers. Michael, give me your hair. And so just as a little incentive for you to continue watching this video, I am not going to reveal my new hair until after Matthew has discussed his entry. That means you're going to have to listen to Matthew as he drones on about whatever film he's picked. Hello
everyone and welcome back to the Movies and Milk 30-day film challenge with myself and Michael, where today we are going to be discussing the films that we love but everyone else seems to hate. Michael certainly leads you to believe that I'm one of the most critical people that he's ever met, especially when it comes to films, and he is absolutely correct. I don't know what it is, and I wish that I could prevent it at times. I'm just always in a state of being critical or analytical when it comes to a film. So thankfully for that mindset, it really wasn't that difficult to come up with a film title today. Of course there are going to be films that I genuinely really enjoy but other people don't quite enjoy, but this film in particular is definitely in a short list of the films that I consider to love but other people just genuinely hate. I am of course talking about Scream 3. Now I do own these films on DVD and it came in a lovely wee box, a lovely wee flippy liddy box, but I can't find them. So I'm sure that Michael just popped a wee poster beside my head there. Scream 3 is essentially the exact same film as Scream 1, quite literally. If any of you are aware of the Scream franchise, essentially there are films based on actual killings that take place in Woodsboro. These films are given the title of Stab. This time around the film essentially takes place on the set of Stab 3, where it is essentially replicating the killings from Scream 1. Very confusing, I know. We have all of our central characters returning for this one. We have Sidney Prescott, we have Dewey, we have Gale, we've got Liev Schreiber, who was a very prominent character within the trilogy, but we only get to see him for a very brief couple of minutes. And of course returning we have the incredible voice talents of Roger Jackson, who provides the voice of Ghostface.
What?
You followed directions well, Sidney. Now welcome to the final act.
And on top of that we've got a couple of surprise cameos, namely the late great Carrie Fisher. I genuinely do love this film. I think it is very fitting within the trilogy. A lot of people would disagree with that. I know a lot of people really don't like this film. It certainly is the weakest of all four films in the franchise in regards to a new and creative storyline and narrative. As I said, it is essentially Scream 1 as Stab 3 in Scream 3. And I do believe that that will be very confusing for a lot of people that haven't seen this film. I truly believe that the film is not as well received by audiences or critics alike due to the absence of Kevin Williamson. He is the screenwriter behind Scream 1, 2 and 4, and instead we are replaced by screenwriter Erin Kruger, who I still think done a pretty good job. I just think the approach to Scream 3 was a very safe bet. People would still obviously want to come and see a third Scream film. The first two were very successful horror films, and so if you're really just going to replicate the same sort of story device of Scream 1, then of course you're going to get an audience to the theatre. But for by the issues in regards to production and screenwriting and everything in between, I still believe that this is a very fitting Scream film. It definitely belongs in this universe. The kills are quite cool, it's brutal, it's gory. We have yet another fantastic central performance from Neve Campbell, who plays Sidney Prescott, although there was never really any doubt that she wouldn't deliver a fantastic performance. It still feels like a Scream film. Yes, it pretty much has a ridiculous storyline, a very, very cheesy and predictable storyline. However, there is a lot of entertainment to be had with Scream 3, and I do love it, I do. It is my belief that the Scream franchise is the most consistent horror franchise, and that's not really saying a lot in all fairness. So yes, that is my pick for the film that I love but everyone else seems to hate. So it is that time once again where I pass you into the very capable hands of Mr. Michael McGorry. So Michael, why don't you take it away?
Seriously mate, what the fuck's that? Tap your napper.
Thank you Matthew. Now I was going to add a little bit of build up, a little bit of intensity before I took off the hat, but I figured fuck it, that's what the hair looks like. You waited halfway through the video to see that. So the film I'm going to be discussing today is a little family film from 2003 that currently boasts a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 19% on Metacritic and 3.9 out of 10 stars on IMDb. So it's fair to say that no one really likes the feature film adaptation of Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat is directed by Bo Welch and stars Mike Myers, who plays the titular Cat in the Hat, who comes to visit the dysfunctional siblings of Conrad and Sally whilst their mum is on a business trip. And from there on in, the cat comes in and he causes chaos.
Stop! That's monstrous! This filthy thing?
I don't think Dr. Seuss was that big of a thing in the UK. I think we were more obsessed with Roald Dahl and such. And while I won't say that this film is a masterpiece because it's far from it, I just love how much fun this little film is. I think this is quite a big unpopular opinion, but I actually prefer this film over the Jim Carrey Grinch. I think Jim Carrey gives the better performance as the Grinch, but when it comes to everything else, I think The Cat in the Hat is better. It's better directed, it's nice and colourful and vibrant, unlike The Grinch. I think the two children in this film, Spencer Breslin and Dakota Fanning, are much better than whoever it was that played Cindy Lou. Who even played Cindy Lou Who in The Grinch? Taylor Momsen. Oh, is that what she looks like now? And I think the plot is a lot better. Unlike The Grinch, this film isn't bombarded with padding in order to meet that feature-length deadline. I mean, there are little subplots in there, like Conrad, Sally and the cat trying to get the family dog who has ran away from the house. But there isn't like a whole 10 to 20 minute segment of the film where it tells us the cat's backstory. The cat is a mysterious, magical entity, and the film doesn't feel the need to explain what goes on. Now, the humour in this film is far from anything that I would call highbrow. There isn't a lot of well-crafted jokes in there, but to be perfectly honest, I laughed more in this film than I care to admit.
What will it take to get you out of my face?
Just sign my petition with this large, oversized pen that requires 2 hands.
I see.
And I love the soundtrack as well. David Newman comes in and does the score for this, and it's kind of in the same vein as his Matilda score, and that is very childlike and whimsical, but it's not afraid to get a little bit cheeky every now and then. And then you've also got the cat himself, who spits a few bars during the movie, and to be perfectly honest with you, he comes up with some bangers.
You can juggle work and play, but you have to know the way. You can keep or float a wish like the way I do this dish. You can be a happy fella, someone throw me that umbrella, and that break, that day, that's what you're making, so have fun, fun, fun.
Now, does the film have flaws? Absolutely. This film is riddled with flaws. It does kind of deface the original source material, but being someone who never grew up with the original source material, I will say that The Cat in the Hat is just a lot of fun. It's just obvious when you watch this movie that everyone both in front and behind the camera is just having such a great time. And as such, that feeling of fun just sort of reciprocates back to me, and I'm having a very good time. I used to adore this movie as a kid.
Sorry, darling.
Oh!
It's being unreasonable.
Fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just started playing. What's going on? Another one. Oh, is that me? Is that me done? Right, okay. That's me. But the movie was recently released on Netflix. I gave it a little watch, and yeah, it's still as fun as I remembered it. And what's life if you can't have a little bit of fun? I've just realised this is the second film that I've been discussing in the 30-day movie challenge that has humanoid cat people in it. Is it a fetish? So thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gents. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And seeing as you're going to be down there anyway, may as well leave us a little comment telling us what film that you love that others don't seem to love as much. And please be sure to head over to the Movies and Milk Instagram, where you can find the 30-day movie challenge template if you wish to take part yourself. And until next time, stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and Matthew and I will see you tomorrow for the first video of the second half of the 30-day movie challenge. We will get there, son.